Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, or in Hebrew, Tom, what is it? Bogato, that's exactly right, Bogato. And Broken Toe. It is Monday, February the 27th, 2023, in the year of our Lord. So we're here this morning with the Scottsburg Board of Works, and we begin by calling our meeting to order, and we have our clerk treasurer give the roll call. Jan Hardy.
Mayor Amick.
Here.
Karen Grucius. Here. Tom Lewis.
Thank you very much. If you've had a chance to look over the minutes, we will take a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I have a question, Mayor.
Okay.
Because in the minutes, I saw our city's Facebook page over the weekend. In the minutes state you'll be closing the utility office until noon. And I saw on the Facebook page it says we'll be closing that office till 12:30. I did not go back and look at the tape, but I know there's a discrepancy there.
Is this a typo? Let me see where the minutes are at. Madalena Jeffries.
No, it's not a typo, it's what I thought to be true to be approved in the meeting.
Okay. Was it just a mistake, or what was it?
Mistake on the Facebook page?
No, it should be 12:30.
It should be 12:30.
So the sessions go to 12:30?
Some of them, some days. I mean, we just wanted to try to keep it consistent.
Okay.
So do we need to amend the minutes to say 12:30?
Well, that's not,
It's-
yeah,
it's
that
not-
wasn't
it's not-
what
it
happened,
wasn't-
so it'll have to come up in this meeting.
I didn't see the number in there. And from when I read through it, I read it just again, I don't see it there. So it's not in the minutes, I don't see. It may be on the tape, but I don't see it in the minutes.
As to what, didn't I say got approval to close until noon?
It says basically,
Yeah, because I went back and read the minutes over the weekend, so it's in there under what Melina presented. Once I saw it on the Facebook page.
Cumberland City bills a month behind for customers' consumption. She requested changing the dates for consumption over the next few months to close the gap and allow us to be current. Tom Lewis made the motion to approve. Second, the training schedule for city employees for the next several months. She requested approval to close the utility office until noon. It is on, sorry about that. On noon, Tuesday and Thursday, beginning February the 28th. Tom Lewis.
Okay, so we want to make a motion to change that to 12:30.
Well, you'll have to do it, no, you'll just have to address it today because,
That's what I'm doing right now.
So basically, we need to then reset everything. Is that correct?
No, the training schedule is 12:30.
Okay.
There isn't anything to reset. That I mean, the minutes will have to reflect 12:30 instead of 12 noon, I guess.
but it was presented at noon was what was approved, so I would say we must adjust.
Approve the minutes and then make the motion and amend to the 12:30. We should need to approve the minutes as they.
Okay, so
Because
we
that
have a
was-
motion
The
to,
minutes are to reflect what actually happened in the meeting, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, we got a motion in
we
a
have
second.
a motion and a second. It's been discussed, so all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
All right,
Aye. So, unanimous. Now, Josh, we want to make a motion to amend the minutes.
You wouldn't amend the minutes, you would make a motion to change the schedule from noon to 12:30.
I'll make that motion.
Tom Lewis makes the motion to change the schedule from 12 to 12:30
I'll second.
on the closure. That's it. Now, okay, so, any other questions about this? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
All right,
Aye, okay. So, now, so your girl's gonna go from 8 to 12:30, so 4.5 hours? Okay. So, and that starts tomorrow?
Tomorrow's our first day.
Okay, first day, wow, well, the Lord be with you on this. This is gonna be, so we'll need to put all this out on our social media.
It's already out.
It's already out, okay.
It's been out. It's in the paper. I mean, Marty published some
Was it-
stuff that
was it
was
what
not
the
accurate.
engineer-
I sure did. I have no idea.
Well, that's what was.
Closing the gap was wrong information that went in the paper.
What was it?
Closing our gap on our billing schedule.
Yeah,
The wrong dates were in the paper.
okay. So, yeah, because we have all those dates, so, and you can give it to Marty if do you have the dates? Marty, do you have the dates?
Well, you're saying Tuesday and Thursdays from 8 to 12:30.
Yeah.
Starting February 28th through.
But it's not every Tuesday and Thursday. There's
And you
only a
give me your
selected
schedule.
dates, yes.
Give me your schedule now.
Yeah, we'll get you the,
But the consumption, closing the dates on the consumption was wrong. That was in the paper.
okay, so, okay, anything else on that? Okay. Let's go to new business, then we have Mid-America Science Park waiver. You see that?
We have a waiver filled out by the partnership. One of their groups that they have is called Get Healthy Scott County Coalition, and they were just asking to use really the hallways and then the space in the back that has like the couches and stuff, just the open area. They want to start like walking at their meetings rather than just sitting and talking. They want to walk around, and just pending on the weather, really they wanted to have Mass as a space that they can possibly walk around.
Yeah, we did something like that in Minnesota. I mean, the cold, it'd be 20 below zero. You could go into Target and walk
Like the mall walkers.
yeah, like the mall walkers. Yeah, we had Rosedale Mall, all kinds of deals up there.
Yeah.
So is this for kids or is this for elderly or what?
I'm not sure who all's involved in this group.
The
It's-
partnership, we've always been very lenient there because of their work with our kids.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see, I mean, you're out there, do you see any harm in that at all? It's just
No,
walking.
they're just using the open space, so I don't see any harm in it.
So that, do they meet regularly?
They're just gonna do it here this month for
Oh,
March,
this
because
month.
that's the theme of the meeting is walking.
I see, so it's just for the month.
Just for,
Okay.
yeah, just for one day.
Got it.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the waiver of
So moved.
walking in the park.
I'll second.
Okay, Gary, seconds. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, thank you. The next thing we have is the reappointment of Warren Ritchie to the Scottsburg Area Plan Commission Board. Do I have a motion to reappoint Warren Ritchie for the APC Board?
I'll make a motion.
Karen Richards makes a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Connor seconds that. Any questions about Warren
What's
Ritchie?
the reason, why is it a reappointment? Was she appointed before?
Yes, she was appointed by this board before, and her term was.
Expired, okay, so it's
She just
re-upped,
reappointed.
okay.
The area plan has so many members that are from the mayor, so many that are from city council, so many from,
Here.
the other areas have it as well.
Commissioners?
County.
Commissioners.
Some have to be employees, don't they? Others, some just,
So
that's where
why
she.
is this not on like the election year cycle? Why is it this year instead of?
Well, because it's a state mandate. In other words, and if I came into office and I wanted to change somebody, I couldn't do it.
I could,
I could not do it because they are appointments, and that the only way that can be changed is if that person says, I don't want to do this anymore,
okay.
then they can walk away from it, and then you can appoint somebody else.
Some of the term lengths are different too, especially on this board. There's like 1, 2, 3, and 4
Oh, okay.
year term lengths, so
Okay.
hers could have been 3 or 2.
So those are good questions that people need to know those things because this is, there's some things there's no problem. There's other things, just like we had with the goat milk folks. And there was a large folks contingent that didn't want to see that come in. So, so there's times that the people really need to be heard. And so they need to be heard all the time. So, but there's things that really, we recently had one in Vienna. But anyways, we have a motion. Did we vote yet?
No, we haven't voted.
Okay, so we've got a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, okay, so that's unanimous, okay. Okay, so C, mayor's new hire approval. What happened here is we have our HR gal who has a degree in HR, who moved over to a company that with about 6 different places because they have a whole team of HR, so she's getting a lot more experience there. Miss Emily came over. We put ads out. We did receive 4 different applications, but for the most part, they were all higher money. One was $80,000, I think one was $70,000, I think one lived in Clarksville or New Albany, and but we've had nothing good. And Emily put one in, and Emily's a good worker and has helped Jill as well as Brooke did as well. But I'm going to go forward with Emily. So,
And this is, what position again?
this is based on the mayor's assistant.
Mayor's assistant.
HR coordinator.
HR coordinator.
That's what I thought it had a different name.
Yeah, it's an HR coordinator, but she helps with me as well, and especially with Jill.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the hire.
Tom Lewis makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Karen Richards seconds. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank
When
you.
is this effective?
Today,
Okay, does she get the cell phone stipend amount that was given for that position before?
Yeah.
So were you gonna be presenting that, or do I need to
Yeah,
add?
it's on here.
Okay,
Yeah. 'Cause I was gonna do them all together.
okay.
so the next thing is the wastewater treatment new hire approval, and I'm gonna let Emily explain that one.
So we have a new hire for the wastewater treatment plant. It's for the wastewater labor intermediate, and Chase has chosen, his official name is Larry, but he goes by Tyler Schultz, and he will be taking that position starting on 3/13.
You all know Tyler?
No, not really.
He's a local young man and wants to learn, wants to be part of the city. He's with the state now and making probably more money with the state than here. But this is home and he wants to learn to be an operator. So those take tests. So, and that's one thing we're needing. I'm encouraging even the water treatment plant to bring those guys in, to start getting those guys. Because a lot of our operators are 50 and above, so we need to have a progression of folks coming in underneath them. So,
I'll make a motion to approve the hire of Larry Schultz.
okay, we
I'll
have a
second.
motion to approve Tyler Schultz by Tom, seconded by Karen Richard. Christian, any other questions about Tyler? Good local family. So, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous, thank you very much.
So we have cell phone stipends and clothing stipend. The clothing stipend is for the wastewater hire, and then he also has a cell phone stipend. And then the mayor's hire will also have a cell phone stipend.
What's the amount?
The HR coordinator is $100 for cell phone stipend. The wastewater is $50 for a cell phone, and I want to say it's on the salary ordinance. $250 for clothing, I want to say.
It's
Maybe
either
more.
$625 or $825.
Okay, so it must.
I'll have to
The
look.
mayor's.
The mayor
Did you
has
bring
the
the
salary
salary
ordinance.
ordinance down?
You have another page? 600.
600, okay.
$600.
And is that to be prorated at all since he's a month after they received it, or give him the whole amount?
Yes, it'll be prorated.
Prorate that? That's what we're suggesting, okay.
It's beginning in March, so basically just
11 months.
8.
It'll be 11 months. They received it the 1st of February. When they end of January.
Oh, I see. So when they receive it.
I'll make a motion, we approve the cell phone stipends and the clothing stipend.
Tom Lewis makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Karen Rishi seconds that. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you very much. The next thing we have is the Corazin proposal. And is the draft fire in that too, or just that's separate?
That's separate.
Okay. I want Jill to explain the Corazin proposal.
This company went around with Bobby Wilson to every department. They have to check the fire extinguishers every year. So they've given proposals for every building. We did it separate because the clerk treasurer's office likes in the budget for each department to pay individually. So the mayor has in front of him, which I didn't print for you, Karen, because it's like 100 pages, but it was good pricing. The fire chief can tell you, he had a separate company coming for him, and he decided to go ahead and go with this company too. So it's like $50, $40 to come and check, but by law, you have to have them checked. So if you all will approve, he will sign all those, and we'll get with this company to have them come in yearly and check the fire extinguishers.
A lot of different fire extinguishers.
Yes, all over the city, yeah.
I'll make a motion, we approve the proposal as presented.
I'll second.
Tom Lewis makes a motion to approve the Corazin contract, and that's an annual contract.
Yes.
Okay. Karen Rishi seconds that. Any other questions about this? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, the next thing is the draft fire policy by Jill Baker as well.
Steve Peach.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, it's a draft fire policy, I'm sorry. Draft
Fire
fire.
approval.
There's a new, he probably doesn't have it. He probably doesn't have it. There's a new hire, Mayor, for the fire department. And I think Chief Ritchie's gonna do both of them.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so
Yeah.
basically, I'll put down HA and HB. So
All right.
HA and HB, you're up.
The first, H is the approval of the new hire. Back prior to Christmas, we started our process with physical agility and written test and narrowed down the field. And we've ended up with Isaac Hunnefeld for the hire. And I'd like to get that approved today for new 24-hour firefighter position. And this is a spur, and if we can't do this today, by all means, I'm good with it, but I seen the clothing allowance. Do we need to do that on the next one, or can we prorate it?
No, we can do that.
We can do it now?
Mhm.
Okay. So I'd like to add that in as well, do a prorate on his clothing allowance, so that way we can get him uniformed for his position.
And a cell phone, which he doesn't have now. Does your guys, Brad doesn't get one, your guys don't get one? Okay. Perfect.
So we have a motion then to go forward under Chief Ritchie's, pick of those who went through the agility testing, and they've chosen Isaac Hinnefeld. So is there a motion to go forward with Isaac Hinnefeld as Scottsburg's fourth full-time runner?
That was gonna be my question. This is number 4.
This is number 4. It's number 4.
So I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
And Karen Rishi seconds that. So, just a question real quick, Chief. Will this then go to Scottsburg, with 4 people there? Will you have a bless you, Chief. Will you have a person then on site then, 24 hours?
Yeah, but actually, that was gonna be my next thing.
Okay, well, I'll
is,
wait for that.
No, you're good. That was, because it's part of this. Basically, yes, we will have 4. but as you know, through the binder and the statistics and so on, our heaviest run volumes during the day. So what we're gonna have is we're gonna have 2 firefighters that's gonna be working on 24-hour shifts. Basically, the way fire departments work is you have an A shift, a B shift, and a C shift. And it's a 24-hour work rotation, and then you're off for 48. Then you come back in 24, 48. It's just never-ending cycle. So we have an A shift and a B shift, 24-hour firefighters. So 2/3 of the year we're guaranteed coverage. That third shift, that C shift rather, is still going to be open, and it'll be filled with our part-time schedule.
Okay.
So I've
Yeah.
shifted that around. Obviously, that's at the liberty of, will we have part-timers available to sign up for that? So
Sure.
if they don't, it'll still be volunteer response. So it is going to be an extreme amount of more coverage compared to what we had, but my ears have been burning for 2 or 3 weeks. I've not been the fan favorite around, but this has been a big process. Thank Jan, Jill, everybody, Josh, that all of them have spent countless hours, especially recently, trying to help out with this, because this is a whole new system. Switching 2 firefighters over to this 24-hour schedule is a big ordeal. We are going to be leaving Eric on the Monday through Friday because he's more of a records administrative
Right.
position / firefighter. Plus, we need that extra manpower during the day when we have little to no volunteers because they're all at work. So it's kind of a dual role there. It's split where we have 2 guys going one way, one going another. And there's been a lot of legwork going on between, like I say, Josh and Jan and everybody with that, which I'll be presenting next. So publicly, I want to make sure I thank everybody, and I owe you more than that. So chocolates, I don't know what you're into, but we'll figure that out, and I owe you something. So, but in a nutshell, yes, we will. 2/3 of the year, basically, are going to be guaranteed coverage 24/7. And then depending on the part-time availability, we'll be trying to fill that third shift.
So with the part-time, are they still reimbursed some amount, or is it just totally volunteer?
With the,
With the part-time?
no, the part-timers are paid
Still-
part-time
they still- they
staff,
still
so
get-
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But with the part-timers, obviously, they have full-time jobs,
Sure,
so we
sure.
kind of have to, it's a sign-up schedule is how we work that.
Okay.
Is I have a program that everybody has on their phone, it's an app, and they can look and see the open schedules, and if it fits their schedules, they'll pick up that shift. And so far, it's been fairly successful, so.
Okay, good deal. We have a motion and a second, and this is the time to ask questions. Are there any other questions to be asked of the chief? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous, thank you very much.
Effective when? When will Isaac start full-time?
He could start as soon as tomorrow. He's currently one of our part-timers, so he kind of just transitioning over. But he's already put his 2 weeks in once he passed perf. That's why there was a delay, because we had to get him up to Indy to pass the 77 program, make sure he did the physical and the psych eval. He didn't want to do his 2 weeks till after that, so we did get the results. He has completed his 2 weeks, and he's ready to start at any time.
When will his shift, what day does his A or B shift? Which one would it, I would suggest we started on the day that, in that schedule of rotation.
We already have him scheduled tomorrow to do training. His actual 24-hour shift, I think, is going to be Wednesday, so it'll be the day after tomorrow.
What?
So I don't know how you want to do that. He's scheduled, basically, we're doing an 8-hour tomorrow, because we have to do some training.
Stay part-time until Sunday for payroll.
Well, but because of him starting that 24-hour shift, I think it's another thing that causes, but if he's in that rotation and he needs to start, then he would be full-time starting Wednesday. Is that what you're thinking?
as far as the
And then
math.
we're paying part-time.
I'm hearing whatever you guys tell me. I mean, I'm flexible. Once again, I know it's been a lot of stress, but
Yes, it has, but we're
in the long
almost
run, it's
there.
going to
We're
benefit the
Yes.
community and the
Okay,
department.
so he's going to come full-time effective 2/20, no, March 1st.
March 1st,
Okay. Okay.
So Chief,
And
next,
that would get him on that 28-day rotation.
so you next have the draft fire policy.
Yeah, kind of like Jill mentioned, I think everybody got that in email. We were gonna try to push this in and get everything approved, however, it is a very large document, it's 100 pages, so I didn't copy it for everyone. You do have a digital copy, I think, that Jan or Jill, one had emailed over to you guys. Basically, it's a 100-page draft. We've been working with Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy on this, with Lori, nonstop. I think everybody has been burning her up as well. I'm gonna have to ship her some gifts or something also. But through this 100-page document, where the real meat and potatoes are, is employee benefits. That's something that, obviously, with our guys going to a 24-48 shift, we're gonna have to do things differently, because obviously if we give them a 40-hour vacation week, well, let me back up. A normal employee is working 40 hours a week. On a short week, our firefighters are gonna be working 48 hours. On a long week, they're gonna be working 72 hours. So with that being said, if you consider a normal employee gets a 40-hour vacation week, if you convert that over to a firefighter, that means he's getting 1 day off. So obviously we're gonna have to cushion that to where it's 48 hours as opposed to the 40, so that way he can actually get 2 full days off, which will give him a week's vacation like a normal employee. There's some other things like the personal time. Obviously, a normal employee gets 2 days. That would have to convert over to a firefighter schedule of 48. But then there's other things such as sick and holiday that is not changing. So example, a normal employee gets 15 holidays. A firefighter's getting 5 floating holidays. It's the same hours, it's just a third of it, so they're getting 5 floating as opposed to the normal employee's 15. And same with sick, with all the details with how we do sick and sick bank, we're keeping all those hours the same as well. So, yeah, there's gonna be some changes in here. You'll see a lot of where all we've done is taken the normal employee handbook for employee benefits out of the normal city policy, cut and pasted over to the fire policy, and changed the hours to fit the 24-48 shift. So I know it's a lot to absorb right there in that little bit of time, but if you have any questions, by all means, call me. We'll walk through it. But we want to try to review this a little more so that way we can present it at the next meeting and actually have it approved.
I do want to make clarification. After talking to Lori, I just want to clarify, we keep calling it policy, but just for clarification, this is a handbook for the fire department. So I want to clarify that, because just by calling it policy, this is a separate handbook for the fire department. So with talking to her last week, HR will need to go, I'm not positive we'll get it next, it might be the following, because HR and her are gonna have to go page by page. She had some questions about some numbers. So with it being so confusing with them working different hours, we definitely want to make sure it matches up to regular employees, so somebody doesn't say somebody's getting something that somebody else is not getting, and blah, blah, blah.
What I was going to suggest was that possibly we set up a time that James, myself, Marita, as payroll, because I think the biggest concern is with the PTO, and meet with HR and the mayor and us all be on the same page. That was going to be my suggestion, and possibly we could get that done in the next 2 weeks. I don't know the time frame. All I ask is that until that is worked out, no one that's on this 24-hour schedule gets any PTO. So the sooner we can get it done, the better. Also, something when speaking with James, we didn't think he's going to still have himself and Eric on 8-hour days. If this is geared to the 24-hour guys, that just came up. There's so many things to process, and I knew by sending this just out for your review over the weekend that those of us who deal with it every day couldn't process it in that length of time. So that would be my suggestion to the board, that you allow James and payroll, and again, from our side, we were more concerned. We knew, we'd been told by HR people they needed a policy. So, and then it got down to where we were just concerned with paying these 24-hour people, paying them accurately where it would work into the budget that they currently have. So that was kind of our role, and as we started working, then it seems like more things we might be needed on.
And then ultimately, the council would be the one to approve an ordinance to adopt the final version.
Of the policy / handbook, what,
Yeah.
okay.
So we might probably just go ahead and loop them in as well.
Well, and I think James he's planning on being there tonight, so they ultimately have to, yeah, okay. Which that would make sense, because they approved this. Other firefighter.
It's been an experience. Like I say, my ears have been burning for a few weeks, and there was even one they had to help me with over the weekend that through all this process that I'd slipped up on the actual hire approval. That's why you didn't have it. So yeah, I appreciate him for that. It's definitely been an experience. I've got this little shiny stuff on the sides of my head through this. It's pretty special. I like it.
So basically, Josh,
That payroll thing, I mean, while you're here, the payroll, I mean, switching a person in payroll during the pay week from part-time to full-time is gonna be difficult. I would wait until the 5th for him to be full-time if it were.
You're probably right, because we're gonna have,
'Cause
then
you're in
we're
a
gonna have
2-week
two different we're gonna have two different grades.
in the same pay period, which is not gonna work out with. I mean,
No, I'm
I'm
totally
just
good
trying
with
to
that.
help.
Whatever
Thank you,
works best
because
for you.
yeah,
I mean, that would be, if you waited until the 5th, then
when we start the new week.
then that would be your new paid week, and it would be, then he could be on one rate instead of two rates
Okay.
during the same pay.
So does that end our pay period this week?
Saturday will end our paper.
Okay, so that would start his 28 day, because this
Yes.
is all on a 28-day rotation. Thank you, Melina, for that, yes. Yeah.
I just know it. I've been there.
So he
Done
remains
that, done
part-time
Until
until
Sunday.
the 5th. Is that the day that the
The
pay
5th.
starts?
Starts on the 5th. And even if he works the 24 hours, he can do that on a part-time.
No, but the part-time can't work over 28. What are, currently, what's approved?
It can't average that in a year, right?
No, that's what I thought, but she corrected me.
No, yeah, he got his hand slapped for that 2 weeks ago, too.
I'm just glad we're not the problem child.
Can you work that out?
Do what?
Can you work that out?
We've worked everything out for the last 3 months. We didn't do anything. This has been a long process, and there's nothing we're beyond, I'll tell you that.
I would make him start on the 5th if it were me.
Well, so we're gonna change that motion to the 5th.
I'm just happy it's moving forward.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Is the board okay with that? Logistic for payroll?
Since we've already voted, do we have to make another motion?
legal counsel, Josh,
Council, do we need a,
we're okay just to go to the 5th, or do we have to have a motion?
You can amend the motion if you want, if everyone's
We've already
already
amended the
We've already
motion?
voted
Okay.
on it.
make a new motion if you want, if you're comfortable doing it.
Whatever, I just want to be legal. Don't be thrown in jail.
The minutes speak for us.
I can put after discussion, the motion was amended and the same people.
Okay.
Copy paste, yeah.
I'm good with
That's,
that, if it's okay.
yeah. Hey, I'm telling you, you just don't know, it takes lots of, yeah.
So do we need to make a motion to allow him to work more than 20 hours? this
Josh,
week?
you can, for
That's his part-time, since he's,
for the rest of the week to work more, could they make a motion to amend that policy for 1 week as far as
Make an
part-time?
exception.
But I think it's on average is the language in through the whole year, it's on average.
Okay.
Sounds
So
like
if it's
I
1 week,
It's-
then it's not gonna throw the whole.
It's just too much to keep up with us in payroll, that's why we went by what the handbook said. The handbook specifically says 28 hours. It doesn't say anything.
It doesn't say on average?
No. And it was getting to be a real problem, because to try to keep up with who was on the line and who wasn't. But I'm pretty sure, Emily, you got a copy of our handbook on there that you can pull up,
No,
or?
I do not.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't say on average.
Yeah, I mean, if they wanna make that
yeah.
That'd be, let's do that.
exception.
So,
I truly appreciate that, just because he's already put in
And
his 2
Melina's
weeks.
been back there when we were trying to keep track of those employees.
Well,
We're
when
gonna be
Trent, I
over-
just remember I was doing payroll at the time that
Kick somebody
that
in.
we did that, and,
Yeah.
and we did it during the week, and it messed up perf, it messed up lots more things than
Oh,
just,
on that.
yeah, so
Mhm.
you need it to do a
Pay
clear,
period. Okay, so now this is going to be that you allow the new hire to work
No,
part-time,
let him continue to work, more than
more than the 28 hours. Okay.
For this week, whatever week it is.
I'll second that.
Okay. Until 3/4. Okay.
Okay, are we good? And Josh, I don't think this would actually come back before this board, it will. It'll go right straight to city council once we get.
Once the policy is approved by council, then this board's the one that is basically administering it. So yes.
So, okay, good deal. Okay, the next thing
We
is,
need to vote on that last motion. To allow him to work more than 28 hours.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions about this? Do you? Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's good deal. Let me show that helps you, James.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Josh, I've got you next on the approval of an MOU for cease.
Yes, sir.
Pretty pleased.
So council has approved $10,000 from the restricted abatement funds that we have received this year from the opioid settlement. And this is just an agreement in place that there's not a lot of direction from State Board of Accounts yet on this fund. And as we've learned in our past with COVID money, the State Board of Accounts will wait a few months and then send out some detailed requirements of what we're supposed to do. So we wanted a written agreement with Cease just to help that they'll provide to us any audits or any inspections or proof of what they use the funds for, so we can stay compliant with our use of that money. And they have already signed and returned a copy of that to Jill and I. So we need authorization for the mayor to approve, we need approval of the agreement, then authorization for the mayor to sign.
So,
Just a question.
what
is-
questions you have?
Is, where did the money come from? From what?
The National Opioid Settlement.
What does that mean exactly?
There's been, the first one was the Big Five settlement with McKesson. There's multiple pharmaceutical companies. There's going to be numerous other settlements where the state attorney general's office is basically administering these funds. There was state law passed last year that dictates who and how you get that fund. So we get a percentage based upon population of those funds to us over the next 18 years, 19 years, one or the other. So our biggest chunk was this first year. Cease has been the only one to approach the city in a meeting that I'm aware of. And Cease makes a lot of sense because as a partner, I attached it to the grant agreement. As a part of the national settlement, which we all have to abide by through the receipt of the funds, there's limited uses for those funds. And Cease already operates in that field. They do grants. They have a whole process by which they already operate, whereas we as a city don't. So it makes sense to partner with them and use what network they already have set up. So there will be more funds too. This is just
So is this 10,000, what percentage is that of the ones we got?
No,
Of
come
our
up in here and
restricted
see what our
funds, it's a
funds
pretty
were.
good
There
chunk.
was- Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big part. I think it was like 22,000 or something like that.
About
I
half,
can-
And the police department gets some funds from Cease too. We keep that.
Yes, but their
We have
grants
for
they get
years,
every
huh?
year. They have ever
For
since I've
years,
come in office
for
in
years.
2008.
It's a grant process,
Ceases.
but we've been granted every year.
Okay. All right. I'll make a motion to approve the MOU and approve the mayor to sign it.
Tom Wilson makes the motion to approve,
I'll second.
and Karen Richards seconds. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Unanimous, thank you very much.
Josh, does that need to be recorded like
No.
other MOUs? Okay.
This is
thank
not interlocal.
The next thing I have on my agenda for today is, we met with information and a correction. We met with Extol this past Wednesday, Thursday, And this is the one area that we are trying to look at, is to have a professional media company coming in and showing Scottsburg as part of the whole sales of Scottsburg becoming what I call one of the very best bedroom communities in Louisville, Kentucky we can be. So this is going to be shown up here, but it's also going to be shown in the Clark, Floyd areas as well. They have multiple venues of getting information out as far as social media, as far as television. They hold hands with all the major networks in Louisville, Kentucky. They have their own paper. They have many ways to transport this. We felt this would be a good way to go forward. And so we went for 2.5 hours trying to understand everything. And we feel it's very positive for the city of Scottsburg. One thing though that Jan asked, will this do away with the contract with Stacy Skinner? And I said yes, but I'm wrong. So up there, they were utilizing verbiage that nobody in the room knew but Stacy Skinner and Jason, who was the ex-Dole representative. And Jason said, if we have to do everything that she's doing, your rate is going to possibly double. So I have to go back and correct what.
That's called Design Effects, is the name of the company.
Okay. So,
It's what we've got our contract with.
okay. And, so that's going to need to continue to go forward.
Okay.
So that we don't pay $7,200. And, but that does need to be, corrected there. Sorry about that. Any other questions about that? And I don't know if you've seen some of the things on Highway 31, but have you seen those massive pipes going in? I can't drive by there every day and just not say, wow, but it's so amazing. Let's go forward now then on the claim approval. So that's, Mr.
I'm just open to a motion to approve the claims as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve them as presented.
Karen Rush makes a motion. Tom Will seconds. Any other question about any claims? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, thank you very much. Next thing we have is from our one and only Josh Digley, legal counsel.
What you got?
What you got for us?
I don't have anything.
Oh, you don't have it? You always just exude this wisdom, though, brother. Next is our chief of police, the one and only Chief Zellers.
I need to let the board know that Officer Ryan Ware has turned in his letter of resignation to the police department. Effective, his last day is March 4th, I believe. He's turned it into HR, and I've got a copy that I put in his file. He is going to Madison Police Department, leaving us. So the board's aware of that. Also to let you know that we immediately went ahead and advertised. If you saw it on Facebook, that's what that's for. We actually advertised 2 positions. We'd be hiring for, one's for Ryan Ware and one's for Scott Zellers when he leaves in June.
Oh, sorry.
Listen to the fire.
June
Listen to the
30th is my last working day. So we decided since he left, we'd be proactive and start hiring for both positions, hopefully no more. We lost Ryan, and then we lost James Myers June of last year. Basically, they're going to other departments for more money is basically what it is what I learned from the conversation with them. So we've started that process. It's a longer process. We have to advertise that by state, I think it's state statute, we have to advertise in the newspaper, which Crothersville is our legal one. We've contacted them, and we will run that for 2 weeks up there. I think we quit taking applications March 17th is what we came up with. We'll quit taking them because it'll run for 2 consecutive weeks up there. So I'll keep you guys in a loop on how it's going. Hopefully we'll get some good qualified officers that apply, and we'll go from there.
Officer Ware was a very good officer, and we hate to see him go. But it is what it is. So we don't ever want to stand in front of somebody trying to improve their position. So, and Chief, as it's gonna be a sad day just to see you,
Either one, chicks.
take off your badge. Yeah. So, yeah. You've been.
Texas
enjoying-
beans.
You've done a great job.
Do I didn't hear you.
Texas beans.
Texas beans, yeah. That's
Cowboy
what you-
beans.
Cowboy beans, that's what.
Cowboy beans. He's requested Esther's cowboy beans.
Well, I was
For
gonna
his,
say.
for his chicken
It's the
dinner.
little things in life.
Oh, so we need to get you a fishing pole, do we, or something? A
Nah,
fishing
I'm not big fishing. I'll stay busy.
Okay.
I'll come city council meetings,
There you
get up to speed.
You can find a big
Thank
giant
you for
stick.
laughing, John.
She's always going out staring.
go. I want to shout out a big kudos to Jan too, because she looked at some of the interest rates and was able to contact State Board of Accounts and basically got the green light to go ahead and move some money to some local banks, so we're getting.
Well, we were already with them, we, just because of the increasing, but thank you for the kudos. I do appreciate that, and we're gonna be looking into that more because of the increase in interest rates right now. When Tish saw what we had done, she's like, Pat, we've never done that before. No, but interest rates weren't 4.15 either. So the first one we did that on was the police pension. They got 0.91, I think, was what we were getting, and so we did the math, Dave Harden and I, and with the penalty, it behooved them for that police pension to,
That
To get
affects our older
Recent-
members, really, more than us, but
yes, but it will help if you live long enough, maybe them to
What's
pay
that
you
now?
back too. Yeah, that'll, like, somebody else will be issuing those checks.
them old guys are healthy.
But I think the market is such that everyone is willing to, to maybe we'll have better rates.
No.
Recently, one of the institutions started giving us 1% on just what we have in our accounts. And that, just watching that, it was the 1% made a difference. So, and I did reach out after the mayor and I spoke, because we did get a one rate on a sizable amount that we have at one of the institutions. So we're hoping, I'm waiting on a call from the lady to work with me on that.
So right now, 91 points is not even 1%. So 100 points is 1%. So many times over this past times, they've been paying 20 and 20 to 23 points. That's crazy. It's not even a quarter of 1%. So right now, in this economy, they're up to 5% right now. So we were able to transfer, clerk was able to transfer, or not transfer, but able to negotiate, as it were, to be able to get those higher rates. And so now to go from basically not even 1% to 4%, and then you're realize it's actually more than the percentage we're giving you, because that continues to compound daily. And so it's a very good move for the city, so thank you very
And
much.
we also, because the police brought it to our attention, because they watch our money very closely, they had looked into one of the local brokerage firms, and they are not State Board of Account approved. They're not a depository that State Board of Accounts approved.
It
So,
has to be a
yeah,
depository.
so the process is such that I reach out to the 3 major local institutions, and whoever comes back with the best rate is where the money goes.
And the state has a fund too, it's called Trust Indiana, and they, that's just a given. But we would like to try to utilize local instead of just going to the state, so that's kind of what we did, so that's all positive. So, okay, announcements, what announcements do we have? New hire.
I missed Emily over there. She's been helping me too. I went around the room and she was blocked by Josh there, but I wanted to give her a shout out too. She's been helping
We
on this
appreciate all
process.
the shout outs. We needed them by Thursday of
Well,
last week.
like I said, my ears were on fire, so I'm like, I probably ought to give you guys some kudos, so that way you feel bad.
The Lord bless us with 2 fine young ladies, and Brooklyn had a degree in HR, and Emily has a degree in hospitality. So, I mean, they just have both been good gals. So, but I have an announcement. Chief, do you have any announcements first?
Do
When's-
I?
Yeah, when's the annual police ball?
You done missed it.
We haven't had a police ball. What do you think?
I think Jan had something.
I wanted to answer Tom's question about the opioid funds. The first one is unrestricted, and we had 10,000 in that one, and the restricted fund was where we had the $23,409. And those had to be set up by council, those funds last year before the end of the year, because that's when we got the money.
But
So that clarifies that.
to Josh's point, the big hit was write-off, because the rest of the $1,500 or $1,800 a year. Am I correct on that, Josh? Something like that?
Something like that, and then there's, and it's not, nothing's codified yet, but there's some legislation going through this year that I think the current amount's like 1,000, 1,500. If the amount that is coming to an entity is below that, then it stays with the state. I think there's some different proposals to up that number to 5,000 to 10,000,
Okay.
et cetera,
Good deal.
to give the state more money and less money.
Oh,
Never mind.
Yeah.
Well, and our police get about 3,500 a year from states in it.
It varies on how much they generate. Now, I don't know how this is gonna change it with these funds coming in. The money used to come from user fees to the courts, and it varied from year to year. So basically, depending on how many people got locked up and paid their fees, is what it came down to. So I don't know if it'll change, but yes, you're right, we've got, I'm sorry.
They still get that pot of money.
Also,
Yeah.
so it's went from, we average between 2,500 up to 5,000. We normally request 5,000 knowing that we won't get it, but every once in a while we did, so. And we use it, it's all used for, not for, it's used for, mainly for drug investigations that involve officer overtime.
Amen. Thank you, Chief. Now, I have a huge announcement. You got the drum roll? On March the 21st, make sure you write this down. March 21, 2023, beginning at about 11:30 to 2:30, we are going to have, are you ready? An open house at the wastewater treatment plant. We are inviting, we're gonna have sandwiches, we're gonna have coffee. Corn on the cob. Yes, for Josh.
Cowboy bebop.
Jason?
We're gonna have all kinds of, this is, to me, this is huge. This is huge.
You never
You know, Scottsburg, probably, Marty, in May of last year, we got the official word off the sewer man. We got the certificate a little bit after that. But I mean, there's been a tremendous amount of blood, sweat, and tears put into this. And right now, I mean, I just can't, we're inviting federal and state representatives. We're inviting all media, you know, local media here. Marty, please come. We're going to give tours. You can ask questions. This is an amazing facility, and this included a tremendous amount of legwork. We literally went down from Dan to Beersheba, and from Nashville, Tennessee, all the way up to Avon, Indianapolis, looking at, I mean, multiple plants, Columbus's plant, Austin's plants, North Furnace plant, Avon's plant, I mean, all over, to get the best that we could find of all of those. We put them all together, and that's what we have out there. And it's designed as such, you can add, we have 3 reactors starting in the row, and we can add another 30 going forward for the future. So, I mean, we're set for years to come, but it's an amazing facility. We were able to reuse everything. And so our old plant, that's all paid for, we repurposed all of that over there. So everything's being used, plus we added on to that. So again, March 21st, 2023, 11:30, we're gonna have sandwiches, we're gonna begin sandwiches, we're gonna have a cake cutting. We may have candles even on the cake, we're not sure about that. And also, if that's the case, the fire department's gonna have to be there. So, but anyway, big deal. Make sure you set your alarm, put it on your date, and we'll see you there. And, So, what are the announcements? I tried to keep that for the big one at the last.
You did it.
So, anything else? Ian, Jim, Jan, Marty? Okay. Melina, anything? Melina, I want to give kudos to you. Yeah, this is like walking the wall of China, what you're getting ready to do. And this is so hard, and I know that. And it's going to be so taxing for your team and the IT team and the entire city, because all components of the city, you know, are going to be affected one way or the other. So, but from what I've seen, what I've heard for other mayors, this is going to be, you're going to be amazed. This is amazing technology, and you're going to be up in front of everything now. So kudos to you who are in the trenches. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Amen. Amen. With that, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned. Thank you very
I
much.
second it.
Have a blessed day.
And if you want to swing around, I'll do this right now.